Superman has been in the public consciousness as a movie franchise since 1978 with Richard Donner's masterpiece, Superman the Movie, and it turned stage actor Christopher Reeve into a megastar overnight as the last son of Krypton, sent from a dying world to live amongst the humans and defend humanity against any threat that would rise up against it. The sequel, the Richard Donner cut specifically, expanded on the story and progressed the love between Superman and Lois Lane, and gave the Man of Tomorrow a substantially greater challenge in Terrence Stamp's General Zod. And the less I say about 3 and 4, the better. I did like how Bryan Singer's Superman Returns completely ignored Superman 3 and 4 and just continued the story backdrop from 1 and 2 and continued what Richard Donner had established with those two movies. And also retaining the iconic Superman March theme written by Sir John Williams. And it's still epic after all these years.
By that point, it had taken 19 years to bring Superman back to the big screen, as 4 was a flop. That said, Reeve wanted to distance himself from the character after the quest for peace, as I think he was growing tired of being typecast. And while the movie did not wow everyone the way that Singer had intended, I found it to be a guilty pleasure, as I did see moments where it resonated Superman with the shuttle rescue segment and the performance of Brandon Routh as the title character, as it felt like Superman. From certain angles, as Clark Kent, you think you're seeing Christopher Reeve. It would have seen a sequel, but it never panned out. It took the idea from David Goyer about reinventing Superman whilst they were working on The Dark Knight Rises, about making a realistic Superman story, and here we are, 7 years later, with Superman being reimagined for a modern audience. Henry Cavill is just wonderful as Clark Kent. I found him to be very relatable, as we all question where do we fit in life and how can we use our gifts and talent the way we're supposed to, and he goes on a very nomadic quest whilst doing odd jobs whilst trying to discover who he is. He tries to make his portrayal of Superman his own by not emulating what Christopher Reeve did. Now, while that would have been a nice homage, by the same token, it's pointless in repeating what someone had established over 3 decades ago. Now, do not get this twisted. Reeve is the quintessential Superman, and is an extremely good template to base future portrayals off of, but sometimes you have to make it your own thing.
I could not fault Amy Adams' portrayal of Lois Lane whatsoever. While Margot Kidder's portrayal is iconic, and Amy does portray Lois in a similar way, she's a lot more subtle in some areas and a lot more brazen in others. Especially when she goes to the Kent farm and actually questions Martha Kent about the whereabouts of Clark. I mean, how ballsy is that? Lawrence Fishburne is a casting choice I did not see coming, purely on the basis it's not a role I would automatically associate with him. From his roles as Cowboy Curtis on Pee Wee Herman's Funhouse to Morpheus from The Matrix, again, this is a role I would not automatically associate with him. But I was pleasantly surprised how subtle and no-nonsense he was as the editor of the Daily Planet.
Russell Crowe gave an amazing performance as Jor-El, getting a little more physical than what Marlon Brando did in 1978, and despite the little amount of time Crowe was on screen as Kal-El's biological father, he conveys the importance of what his son means to the future of Krypton's legacy and the role he will serve as Earth's champion.
Kevin Costner was an extremely great casting choice as Jonathan Kent. I like how Jonathan teaches the importance of why Clark has to be so secretive about his gifts. And I especially like and was so moved how Jonathan embraces and openly accepts Clark as his son, even though he is not of this world. Diane Lane as Martha Kent. Before seeing this, again, I did not really rate her performance that highly, as I didn't feel like there was enough emotion and emoting in her performance. However, upon seeing this again on home release, I found that she gave a really decent performance, and how she was such a protective mother to her adopted son and would do anything to keep him from harm.
Michael Shannon as Zod. This is where the movie has some good contrast and diversity in the sense that Zod is portrayed as a somewhat sympathetic villain. You do see his point of view in wanting to maintain the Kryptonian existence and legacy, but that said, you don't agree with his methods of doing it. And in a weird way, he does come across as being prejudiced in that he feels humans are beneath him and serve no purpose other than being made to move out of the way so Krypton can live again. The only thing I can mark him down for is that he can be a tad hammy.
I will find him!
You could easily make a meme out of this.
I will find him!
The story does work well in the sense of this is how Superman could operate and adapt to Earth in a realistic setting. What I did enjoy is that it's still the Superman I know, with the tendencies that he does not want to hurt anyone and just wants to save the people from harm. I will agree that the ending scene where he's forced with either allowing Zod to kill the people or kill him was very controversial. Now, a lot would argue that this is not how Superman works, and for the most part I will agree, because he is the ultimate nice guy. He doesn't want to see anyone die. But in the situation he was in, what choice did he have? It's ironic when you have Batman as the darker character and he never took a single life in the Dark Knight trilogy.
Is the reimagining perfect? No. No story is ever perfect, but then again that's down to an opinion based on what you deem as perfection. Yeah, sure, the pacing of it was a little bit off, and there were some areas that they could have addressed and actually taken a little bit longer in ironing out the flaws, but for what it was worth, I thought it was good casting choices combined with amazing visual and special effects, along with an amazing score written by the ever so talented Hans Zimmer with the Man of Steel theme, which, in my honest opinion, surpasses the iconic Superman March theme by Sir John Williams. Now, do not get this twisted in any shape, form or fashion. I am not narking on Sir John whatsoever. I just find the Man of Steel theme is superior. Again, purely my opinion. When you attach a company like Weta Digital that have worked on such projects like Avatar and Rise of the Planet of the Apes, then it's guaranteed you're going to get your money's worth in regards to fine detail and making CG creations look organic. And this can be said in the final battle between Superman and Zod. Man of Steel represents to me how a modernized Superman movie should be done. Now, I know some members of the press and fans have naysayed on it, and that's completely fine. That's the beauty of an opinion, you're all entitled to it. It's good to start a new franchise that will eventually pave the way to a live-action Justice League movie, at long last, that will see the likes of Superman, Batman, possibly Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern form the League to protect the Earth. Man of Steel still gets a must times 3 and 5 Santa Claus. That's it from the Countdown to Christmas 2013 from Special Features. Normal operations will resume in the new year when I review Kick-Ass 2, and don't forget, on December 8th this Sunday, we'll see the start of December to Remember when I review Batman Returns. Happy holidays, everyone!